individual pictures of the dudes, like, sitting in a chair, like,
Yeah, I
as
got
like a
the
as
source
like a
file, so
singled out
I can
image.
mess around with the source file as much as.
Okay, so I can imagine just like you know how you have the episode 3 image that you have, just us in the background sitting like with the Iron Throne or something,
Yeah, yeah, that
sitting
could be
around the
fun. We
Iron
could have
Throne,
an Iron Throne each or something.
or like just sitting around it, like just like talking to it, if not like around it. It would be funny also, each of us having our own throne, but we don't need to go that far.
Yeah, like customize the
Are we
image for.
live? Are we live
We're
live or
not
are we
live yet,
still?
but I will click the button now. So, going live
Ooh,
in 3, 2, 1. Going live. All right, and
all
let's see. Oh,
right,
we're live. There we go.
are
So,
we?
everything seems to be working fine. We've got Shukri and we've got Sarah in the chat. Uh, hello, guys. Welcome to another stream. I so hope that you can hear us well and that you can see our lovely new background image.
Yes.
Yes, so I think the stream has a slight delay, and we'll. Um, yes, it looks like looked like it can. So yeah, things are looking good.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds
and of
awesome.
course, as always, my dear viewers and friends, with me is the wonderful Justin Anderson, worthy of more adjectives than I could ever conjure. But here
I
he
was about to
is.
say,
The
only one today? Wow, not even trying.
Yeah, well, see how effortless he does it. What a guy. So I see we're scraping up some people for to join us here, which is nice to see. We're discussing House of the Dragon, episode 3. So let's get everybody's hot takes and earnest opinions in the chat, and let's discuss. I know that Shukri and Sarah have already they've already let me know of their opinions, but please remind me of your biggest takeaways in the chat, guys, so that we can involve everybody here. But first, I'm gonna go to Mr. Justin Anderson and ask, what did you
Hey,
think
that's me.
of? That's you. What did you think about the episode in general? Your biggest, your biggest impressions.
I think of it. I think of the episode. I think just what a strange turn of events has come to pass to get us to here. you know, um, but we're so much and so little has happened at the same time. It's like almost impressive to think in that regard. Uh,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to feel about it. Like I don't feel great about it. I don't feel terrible, but I also don't feel great. The third episode in particular was very polar in that like the first like 2/3 was one type of show and the last third was like another type of show
Uh
and
huh.
like wasn't balanced at all. Like there's some cool things that happened. There's some interesting well, like one interesting thing I suppose. um But overall, it's just so mismatched and so poorly paced. It's so confusing to see them them fall fast.
Yeah, right. It's the pacing is a bit strange. And I'm not really feeling the time jumps either. First it was a 6 month gap from the first to the second episode, and then it was a 2 year gap from the second to third. And I can't help but feel like it's not time for this yet. We still need to flesh out the world and the characters for a time jump like this to make sense. Do you feel like they have fleshed out characters, the world enough?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. They have potential. Like they are building up Rhaenyra and some of these other characters to be like they could be characters if they gave them, things to do rather than talk. But that's all anyone does, and it's very sad to see. And it's like watching all the potential. I'm not gonna lie, they do have potential. The actors, like, well, maybe I don't know. Is it because the actors are being so stilted in their approach to the characters, or are they being told to like restrain themselves? It feels like everyone is holding back.
Yeah, like
it's
when
strange.
When the whole cast seem to be lacking in a way, it seems to me that it's usually a case of bad directing or bad script. It doesn't have to be the actors themselves. They're probably just doing what they're told. And honestly, I feel like just looking at them, they look like they have potential. They look good, and they behave like I would expect them to. When it comes down to the actors themselves, delivering lines and whatever. But I suppose that's not really where the show is lacking exactly, right?
I will say, I agree with Sarah in the comments real quick that this episode I think was better than the first two.
Okay.
Like, how much better? I'm not sure how much I would say, but at least we got more. Maybe it's closer with the first episode because the first episode had a lot more personality and character stuff, whereas this one was a lot more just kind of filling in the gaps. But I mean, what they did with it's such a I don't know. It's so back and forth about trying to figure it out and like ranking episodes. It might be a tie between first and third, with two being very very low at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, because not much has happened. A lot of things have been said, but not much has been said. A lot of things have happened, but not a lot of things have happened. Somehow, great to see Uriah back in the chat, by the way. Welcome, and Be Wise. Good to see you all.
Uh-oh. We might have lost connection.
Okay. Gun. Always with my upload speed. Well, anyway. Can't hear anything. That's a bummer, huh? If something wrong with my settings. This time everything was looking real good, Real good. Slow down the bit.
I'll pull up what I can on my side to see what everyone else is here. Because from what I pulled up my phone, I could hear us having the conversation. I don't know if it's the.
Okay, well I've slowed down the video bit rate here. The audio. The audio is the only thing here really going on today. Switched from live camera action to okay, so but let's talk more about the pacing here, because we had the two different time jumps, and I suspect that there will be a couple more. before we really get down and really with the details. So, what do you do? You think it makes sense so far to do it this way, or would you have done it differently?
Problem with time jumps is that, like, unless because they have so many characters, it it's so hard to do a time jump and have time to show you the character changes and whatnot. It That's why, like, with Game of Thrones, the time jumps was in between the seasons, if if at all between the seasons.
Right.
Because you have to give people that time to grow and to change or to like, give people space to have things happen, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Here, the characters, they don't have enough personality as it is, and then doing a time jump to show them like, oh, here's some crazy things that are changing or things that are the same. Nothing's changing. Nothing's really changing in the grand scheme of like who people are and what they want and how they act. Uh, Nothing has changed so far in that regard. Um, and that's sad to see. Like, maybe I'm saying that in this regard because, like, you're not supposed to see characters change in the first 3 episodes, but most of the time, you don't have 2 time skips in the first 3 episodes either. So, that's also a problem. It's a weird mix match, and I'm not saying it can't be played well, but how they played it here isn't working.
Yeah. I agree that the time jump doesn't change much. Because what is this show really about? Can you give me like a couple big bullet points so far? What is the show about?
What is this show about? What are we doing here? It's about dragons in a house.
And they all live in it, having a
I'm not sure if
party,
you're.
having a
I'm not sure if you're
ball.
aware. The main thing is that it's about who's coming to the throne. That and the many mix matches that happen along the way, all the little problems that get in the way of that happening, and of other people who want that thing, how they're trying to get it,
Yeah.
and that's it's a bit much in my mind because at least Game of Thrones you balanced it out between people who want the throne, people who want to avenge someone, people who want justice, someone who wants to defend the wall or protect their siblings or whatever they wanted. It was different and separating. Here, it's this everything is the same, and there's not enough variety despite the large ensemble cast. If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And I find this quite frustrating. Exactly this that you're talking about. When I watch it, I'm constantly asking myself, okay, well, what is this show about? And then I'm reminded that the show is about the succession, and that there has never been a queen on the Iron Throne before, and that's what the show is about. And it's a little frustrating because, as you said, there was a plethora of themes in Game of Thrones, and here there just isn't. And Uriah brings up a really good example there in the chat that Laenor, for example, just appears, and now he's a character, and I would say the same of Vaemond, the brother of Corlys. They just show up, and they're characters now, and they have strong wills and plans for that battle scene. And same with Mysaria, just kind of shows up, and I don't care, you know. You can talk about these characters all you want, and they can talk about what they've been through, but I don't know what you want. I don't know where you're going. I don't care. So especially with the time jumps, it kind of ruins everything because it doesn't play to what the show is probably trying to be. It doesn't play to its own strengths.
Right.
You know, in the lead up to the show, with the interviews with cast and showrunners, directors, and whatever, they were talking about how it's going to be this show about intrigue and nuanced characters, and that just is not the case, not at all so far. I mean, okay, you could say it's only 3 episodes in, but for how long are we gonna say, oh, it's only X amount of episodes in? Like, when do we draw the line and say, hold up a second, what is this show about? Who are the characters? Like, come on, you gotta give us something. You know, when do we draw the line, chat? When? Because I draw the line quite early, and I mean, I'm a pretty harsh critic, to be fair. But I'd still like to know, where do people draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
For if it's a bad show, or or for like what you want in a show. I'm confused what you mean.
For how long can we say, oh, it's only been X amount of episodes, give them a chance? When do we feel like we've given them
a hard to say. Like with this show, it feels like they're holding back to give us stuff that's actually good. You know, like the things that should be happening into the latter half of the show rather than the front. I feel like they're committed to like the first half of the show being set up in exposition, and the latter half is going to be like all the stuff that's like happening in between, like all the setups building up to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure if there's even going to be anything that happens. It's right now all that's pulling people in is the fact that the Game of Thrones sticker is on this. It's just lots and lots of stuff. It's Game of Thrones stuff, and just thrown into a pot, boiled for like 10 minutes, and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And also, we're saying I'm hearing some more cries in the chat of audio.
I lowered the
cutting in and out.
the video bitrate to the lowest settings, so now it should be better. Let's sounds better now, guys. There again on the audio. It is getting increasingly difficult to care. Who do you care about at the moment? If you care about anyone of the characters, I mean.
Who do I care about?
Yeah. Do you care about any of the characters so far? I mean, I have I have to be honest and say that I kind of care about Rhaenyra. She's making, I have to say. But I kind of want her to want something. And I have to say that in the 3rd episode, she did show a bit of agency when she rides off and Kristen Cole chases after her. You know, and they flick us a lot on the nose with these things. Like, she wants to be respected for the person she is, and whatever. She wants to be a person. And for once, she actually kind of shows that she is a person by taking action of some sort, going out to woods,
by running away, killing a boar, and coming home. Like the actions.
Let's talk about the boar scene.
The same magnitude. These actions aren't the same magnitude to anything that.
Yeah.
There's so much not happening. It would be hilarious if it wasn't so sad.
Yeah. I've you know, I don't know where the problem really is, if it's like an executive problem, or if it's a problem with poor writing, that they don't know how to portray the characters and how to whatever. What do you think?
Like, who portrays it better?
Well, I mean, just like it seems like they are they're shoving in a lot of things that they want you to know, and they keep repeating themselves a lot. So clearly, there's a message there that's hard to miss about
Well, like
some
I
of the
said before,
themes. Yeah.
as I said last time, uh, the writing and like emphasis is similar to Game of Thrones. The problem is they the focus isn't divided enough. The characters don't have we don't have enough screen time of other things happening, like to kind of refresh your care, if that makes sense. A lot of times people would be talking about the same things and doing whatnot, the same like song and dance. Not to the I'll give Game of Thrones credit in regard to like it not nearly in the same way as like House of Dragon has like emphasized it, but they would also be very on the nose with some ideas and some cut scenes and uh, some exchanges. The difference is we don't have enough variety. It's all the same. It's all just the same boring the political mumbo jumbo. And specifically this past episode, I rolled my eyes right out of my ears when she was like, everyone where the knight is telling Rhaenyra like, you know, like I grew up blah 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 blah, and he's like, people would die to be in your position. Like, no one's been in my position. It's just like great like like rich girl drama queen type of like oh, if only they knew the struggles. And like I'm not saying she's not struggling, but it just felt so like pointless to talk about this. They could be having an actual conversation about like her or about him or about the world or about some of the like things that like she's worried about with like what will happen to her if she's not on the throne, like considering her future rather than just being upset and angry and pouty. She was just being extremely pouty this episode, and I I don't know what to do with that. There's not much else to do than see people pout. Does that make sense?
Sorry, Justin. I audio there for a second.
That's unfortunate. I was just balling just gold out here.
Embarrassing. Oh, stop working. That's annoying.
While he's fixing that, fellas, I'll be reading the chat and looking at how some of you are talking about how Araya is talking about how if you follow the book, it'll be crazy guy uh soon. And I've only read the first two chapters of Story of Lost Interest. Coming back, it'll be a new live. I don't.
There we go. Sorry about that.
YouTube.
Sorry, Justin.
Yeah, what's up? What was I talking about? I was just talking about how much they're. I want to like Rhaenyra, like you said, but they are just making her just this pouty little girl, and nothing. And like the character bits that I do like of her, where like her strength and her intrigue and her like uh not viciousness, like her commitment. Like
Hmm.
she's very committed to what like to the she's somewhat committed to what she wants, but she hasn't really done anything to like take what she wants. She's just kind of standing at the side being pouty this whole time. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
right.
Just pouts and is sad and angry and can't do anything about it. And that's the show so far for her. And that's dumb because they could be using this character. And if this is the main character that we're following, we need to have a way to pull us into what her and wanting to relate to her, and I don't. I don't. I feel like no like care because she doesn't really seem to care. She's just being like, whatever, fine. She's doing the whole thing like where like see if I care. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she when they definitely care, but they don't want to say it, and you're just I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, uh, they do give her a lot of sympathy, I feel. Like the show gives her sympathy by having her challenged by these people, you're never going to be queen because no one's going to listen to you because you're just a girl, even though you have your ideas and whatever. I don't know. I feel like the show is trying to make me sympathize with her, but then they just throw in all these pouty characterizations of so it's really difficult. What about the in the forest though? I kind of, as I said, I like that she rides off. She kind of takes action of some sort, a bit of agency right there. I mean, then there's the random boar that does what all boars do, I guess, by hiding in the grass and attacking people. Apparently, like sneaking up on them, like really, very stealthily sneaking up on them, only to attack them. And then you get this. I guess, is it frustration? I don't know what this is supposed to be. She kills the boar. She does something with her hands. Yes. We saw her ride the dragon. Gloves off with her, which handy. Kills a boar. And then they come across the elk, the white elk that they've propped up to be a symbol of stuff, worthiness and loyalty. Just the classic, the very original thing of saying, no, don't kill it, let it go, and then watch the majestic animal in peace. Who's ever done that before? Do you think that helps her character? Does that make you care?
No.
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 Yeah. No. I guess no. Right.
There's not. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not even close to enough. There's only 3 characters that have had any semblance of like emotion for any of their scenes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like we get frustration from everyone else, and that's it. Frustration and laissez-faire, or like just very very like stoic. Like I am here for a political meeting, or here standing at this gathering, and I am not having a good time, but I'm pretending to have a good time.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing the same. Everyone was giving the same prompt, and have been told not to deviate, and it shows.
Right. Right.
It's really bad. Apparently, the audio.
Yeah, I try to
could
fix
tell.
it there. I hope it sounds better now. Settings. That. And I did take notice of very nice comparison Sarah made between Daenerys and Tywin. I think that ties back into the build-up and tension, because when Tywin shouts, "They have my son," to break the silence, Game of Thrones, it's similar to there's shouts about dead wife and son. One, with the big difference being, of course, that one of those scenes were built up to over a long time, and the other about half an episode. That does tie in. Earning dance in it, and but that's not the point. Anyway, what did you think about the CGI? Let's talk about the CGI a little bit. There was some dragon action in the beginning and towards the end. Did you think of the CGI, Justin? Because this show, everyone is here for the dragons, right? The dragon show.
There was fire. Fire is cool. Like the action. This is funny because, like, again, spoilers for those who don't know. I'm watching Game of Thrones like for the first time. I just finished the 4th season, and the fight with the Jon Snow at Castle Black. The way they do it and the panning and like they have a lot more at stake. They have a lot more characters built up into that fight with people dying and people giving. There's so much more, to be involved with. Here, it looks shinier. There's more dragons. There's technically more happening in a bigger set, but no one important dies. No one like the strategy is very strange and like it works. It's fine. Like very simple strategy apparently, since the crab people are very simple-minded people, that this would have worked despite them fighting for 2 years. The characters aren't built up to regardless, so like you're just like, all right, the only way you're rooting for Daemon, and he does it. Good job, Daemon. That's it. And so because I was thinking, oh, is Daemon like going out there to like 1v1 the crab guy? Is that what's about to happen? Because I thought that was like going to be interesting, because we could get to know Mr. Crabman instead. I would have loved, instead of just this big fight I care about, we would have, hey,
Yes.
here's 2 people that are of interest to us, coming to a
good idea to have dragons
coming to a front. Yes.
That's what people like. Come for the dragons. Sorry to cut you off. That was. Okay, well, speaking of mighty creatures, what did you make of the pug in the tent? I'm serious. I'm not going to do this whole episode coverage without talking about the pug. Did the pug stand out to you? I'm serious, Justin.
You mean when the pug ate the cake?
Yes, the pug in the tent that ate the cake.
I mean, it was a pug and it ate cake.
Yes, it was a pug, wasn't it? And what I'm thinking is that very realistic? And so I went on a little Google tour and I was looking up, did pugs really exist back in the days? And apparently,
okay, I thought you're. Do pugs exist? Question mark.
Dragons, yeah. But pugs, god damn it. No. So, the pug. Maybe I'm being silly here, but I was thinking that pugs did not exist, and lo and behold, they did exist. So why am I even talking about this? Well, it turns out that pugs looked quite different back in the days, and maybe I'm complaining about pugs in a dragon show looking unrealistic. Maybe I shouldn't, be so harsh on the pugs and pug representation in Hollywood. But you know what? I find it a little bit lazy to have such an unrealistic portrayal of setting. Maybe they could have bred a breed of pugs that looked more like the original. But I don't know. That just kind of stood out to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Tell me if I am crazy, Justin. Pug looked very out of place. It just sucked me out of it a little.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. Someone said, "Hey, who's got a pug? Who's got a dog they want to put on the show?" And someone said, "Me, my pug, Dorothy." All right, Dorothy. Dorothy the pug gets to be on House of the Dragon, eat
Yeah,
some cake.
yeah,
And
that,
it didn't bring me out. I do remember the scene you're talking about where it was like I didn't really care for the scene because it was like meant to be like this. Oh, look how sharp and like pouty our queen is, our queen to be is, and I just
yeah, yeah. Okay, well let's leave the pugs. Is there anything that we forgot to cover?
if I wanted to talk about the opening, but we can wait for that for next week when we hopefully have the audio under control. Since apparently we keep fading out, and I jumped in to listen to it real quick, and it's pretty bad. So,
See.
uh,
Dang it. Get it under
so
control
we
for
can
next
just
week.
wait till next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds good.
Very well. Well, in that case, I think we have all of episode 3 of House of the Dragon covered. Thank you very much for joining me. And thank you, everyone, for joining us, for watching, and for contributing many, many interesting points in the chat. Would have loved to cover more of those. With all of that said, see you next week. Don't forget to watch the episode 2 and 3 and 1 in a nutshell that have come out and will come out this week on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow us on Instagram, by the way, and you can join the Discord channel because we have social medias. If you're a social media person, get on that. But that's all I had to say, I think. Vented, and praised. Go to guys. I hope you feel happy with that conversation, Justin. It was my pleasure to have you on, and I'll see you again next week.
All right, have a good one.
Coolio. Bye-bye.
Are we? Are they gone?